Brooklyn Nets are done. They got swept. Bring out the brooms, ladies and gentlemen, because the Brooklyn Nets are eliminated from playoff contention. They got swept by the Celtics, and I'm going to talk about that. But first, I got to get through the rest of the games that happened today. And I might as well start on... Or not, I'm going to talk about the games that happened yesterday and today, because, well, I guess Sunday and Monday. Because I'm uploading this on Tuesday, and you guys are seeing this later than it's being recorded. So let me start by talking about that. But before I do that, I'm going to talk about some other just interesting stuff I heard about what happened. Me and you both have the same amount of playoff wins as KD does this year. I have the same amount of playoff wins as KD, Kyrie, Russ, AD, and LeBron this year combined. Those are just a few things. And this last one is really crazy. I found this on Instagram. Apparently this is the first time in 17 years that neither KD nor LeBron made it to the second round of the NBA playoffs. 17 years. That was before I was born. That was before a lot of you were born. That was before a lot of people were born, man. And wow, 17 years ago. That's the last time this happened. But yeah. Anyways, let me start talking about the games and stuff. This is actually being recorded after the rest of the recording that you're about to hear, because this part got deleted, so I'm just re-recording it. But anyways, Bucks versus Bulls. That was a very interesting series. No, it wasn't. I expected the Bucks to dominate. Everybody really knew they were gonna win the series, and you know, if I remember correctly, that was the first game of the day. Because this was the one. Yes, that game was the first game of the day, and after that, it was Warriors Nuggets, and Warriors Nuggets ended up being a pretty close game. Of course, the Nuggets won. Well, not of course. People expected the Warriors to sweep. I knew it would be Warriors in 5. You guys can go back to my prediction video well, not really prediction, but the playoffs are here. That video, you guys can check it out. You guys can see there that my prediction was Warriors in 5, and that's probably what's gonna end up happening. So I expect the Warriors to win game 5 and move on to the next round. And then we also got I don't really have much else to say about that game, by the way. We got the Hawks versus the Heat. Trae Young scored 9 points and Kevin Knox had 12. Kevin Knox had more points than Trae Young, and they lost this game because Trae Young had 9 points. So yeah, I expect the Heat to win this in 5, like I said, and chances are they're gonna win it in 5. And then we got the last game of the day was Suns Pelicans. This one is actually an interesting one that I want to talk about. Did I watch the full game? Of course not, but I did see some moments, and this Pelicans team is looking very, very good. Like I said in the last video, there's a lot of teams out here that you're really waiting for their star players to come back from injury, like Zion for the Pelicans. But the Pelicans are looking amazing without Zion, so I can't imagine what's going to happen when they get Zion back. You got Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, Jonas Valanciunas already, and add Zion to the mix. That's a crazy team. So, and right now they already have a chance. They're tied 2-2 with the best team in the NBA. So, and they started off the year as the worst team in the NBA. So the fact that they're all the way up here is actually amazing. Jose Alvarado brings a lot to this team. Herb Jones brings a lot to this team, and it's nice to see, man. It's nice to see. Is there anything else I gotta talk about that day at least? Chris Paul sold, so he's gonna have to come back big in game 5 to helped the Suns win the series. The Suns haven't been playing up to expectation and how they should be playing. So I think the Suns might step it up in the next following games, but if they don't, they might not make it to the second round because their best player is out. But same thing can be said for the Pelicans. So you could say when these teams, so far, when these teams' best players are out, they're evenly matched. And this is the best team. I keep on saying that, but you really got to think about how this is the best team in the NBA going against a team that was the worst team in the NBA at the beginning of the season. They started what, like 1-15, 1-14 or something like that, and now they're 2-2. They have more wins in the series against the first seed than they did in the first like 15, 16 games of the season. So yeah, this is an interesting series. Honestly, I am kind of rooting for the Pelicans. 1, because they have Jonas Valanciunas. 2, because they have Jose Alvarado. 3, because they have Brandon Ingram. 4, because they just have a likable team, you know, and you kind of want to see them win. And also, Willie Green is a good coach. Moving on, today's games. There's a lot to talk about with today's games. First of all, we got Celtics, Nets, and the Celtics sweep. The Celtics swept not the Celtics. The crazy part isn't the Celtics sweeping, it's the fact that they swept the Nets. They swept the Brooklyn Nets. That's like the Brooklyn Nets. The team that people were thinking was going to be in the NBA championship just got swept. They didn't even win a game. So KD and Kyrie didn't really come to play first 3 games. Game 4, KD came. Well, actually, Game 1, Kyrie did come to play, and KD didn't. Game 2 and 3, neither of them came to play, but they were still close games because Bruce Brown was just going off. And Game 4, KD came to play, but Kyrie not really. He did come in the clutch, but it wasn't enough. KD missed the free throw, and that was the game. So, or not that was just the game, that was the series. So this team right now, I'd say, is probably the most disappointing other than the Lakers. Because people thought they were going to make it to the NBA championship, and people saw the Lakers got out, the other team that was projected to make the NBA championship. So people are still thinking, oh, you know, it's fine, Nets are going to make it, they're still really good, right? And then the Nets get swept. So, a funny thing I saw on Instagram was the WNBA asked one of the teams, I forgot which one, all their best players. I think it was Chicago. They asked who is going to win the 2022 NBA championship. And at first, all the players were saying Brooklyn Nets. Some were saying Warriors, but most were saying Brooklyn Nets. They did it again with a different WNBA team. Maybe it's because it's a different team, or maybe it's because things have changed. Probably a mixture of both. But this team said Celtics. A lot of Suns too, but a lot of Celtics. And it's like now that the Nets are out, a lot of people are automatically choosing the Celtics as a championship favorite, or at least their finals favorite. I still have the Bucks making the finals. Chris Middleton does affect that prediction a lot, but yeah, I still got the Bucks winning because Giannis is absolutely ridiculous. The second game of the day, this one I actually did watch the full game of. Raptors versus Sixers. This might be actually the first or second game where I actually got to watch the full game of, like, got to watch every single moment from this game pretty much. This in game 2 really. And I watched a good amount of game 3. But yeah, I wasn't watching it live. That's the thing. This is the one that actually I wasn't really watching this live either. My point is, I was paying more attention to this game than the others, and the Raptors did absolutely amazing, especially without Fred VanVleet, because without Fred VanVleet, that means they can run lineups with like 6 foot 8 to between 6 foot. They had 5 guys on the court between like 6'7" and 6'9" at like all times. Because Ken Burch and Achua, their tallest guys, are both 6'9". They got Siakam, who's like 6'9". They got Thaddeus Young, 6'7" or 6'8". Barnes, 6'7". OG, 6'7" or 6'8". Who else is on this team? You got Gary Trent, who's like 6'5", so that's an exception. But Boucher, 6'9". Everybody who was getting minutes pretty much was about between 6'7" and 6'9". And their defense was amazing. They did great guarding Embiid, not letting him get to the free throw line. I saw a thing where it was the first time in 2 consecutive games where Embiid shot less than 10 free throws since November 4th to November 6th, 2021. And that is a ridiculous stat. Embiid is known for getting to the line, and the Raptors have found a way to defend him while keeping him from going to the line. He still had 20 points, which is good, but it's not what he'd been giving them in the past few games, especially without the free throws. That did help them a lot in getting this win. Also, Danny Green did show up a bit for the Sixers at some points, but it wasn't enough, and essentially the Raptors won. Their defense is too much. Siakam was playing amazing. OG had a good game. He started the game 0 for 5 from 3, but then eventually he picked it up. Had some electrifying dunks, had some nice little threes, good plays. He was doing decent at the end of the game, and hey, Raptors got the dub. And people are saying Doc Rivers is a coach known for blowing his leads. And I mean, realistically, is it gonna happen? I don't know. Could it happen? Yeah. Do I hope it happens? Of course. The Raptors are going back to Toronto, and they of course have the home court advantage, which means Game 6 should definitely be a win. And if they get that win in Game 6, they come back to Philly for Game 7. If they executed the way they executed today, they could definitely win the series, man. Because I think the Game 5 is definitely the hardest game to win. You're down. You're not very hopeful on the road, especially like if you don't have home court advantage. You're on the road, and the other team, all the odds are against you. But the Raptors came to play, and if they can continue to do that for the rest of the series, Raps in 7, man. Raps in 7. And that would be hilarious if Doc Rivers was the first coach to ever blow a 3-0 lead. If there was ever a coach to blow a 3-0 lead, it would be Doc Rivers. And after that, at that point, do the Sixers fire Doc Rivers? In my opinion, I really do not know. I say they keep him for the regular season and then fire him in the playoffs. Nah, that's a joke. But I don't want people taking seriously with that one. Anyways, last game of the day today was Dallas versus Utah, or Utah at Dallas, I guess. We saw Dallas absolutely blow them out. Absolutely blow them out. Like, when I say absolutely blow them out, I mean absolutely blow them out. Utah's only guys in double digits were Rudy with 17 and Jordan Clarkson with 20. Donovan Mitchell had 9 and Daniel House had 8. They scored a total of 77 points. 77 points in a playoff game. Dallas, on the other hand, 8 of their players scored. 2 of them were like players who played in garbage time, but so you could really say 6 of their players actually scored. Luka had 33 and 13 with 5 assists. Jalen Brunson had 24. Dorian Finney-Smith with 13. And the whole team was playing amazing. Their defense, as you should expect. Actually, it wasn't, I guess you could say it's the Dallas defense. I wasn't really watching the game as much, so I don't know. But you could really say it was the Jazz offense. Because if you look at the summary, if you look at the 3-pointers, the Jazz shot 10% from 3. They made 3 threes in this game and shot 30 of them. They were 3 for 30 from 3. They're also 29 for 77 from the field, which means they were shooting 37% from the field. So I guess you could say it was the Dallas defense, but I think it really came down to the Jazz offense being off, especially with Donovan Mitchell having a terrible game. 4 for 15 from the field, 0 for 7 from 3. This was not his game today, and I think he might have had a little injury at the end, and that looks kind of troubling. So hopefully it's not too serious, but yeah, this series is looking good for the Jazz. My original prediction was either Dallas in 7 or Dallas in 6. It might have been Dallas in I don't even know. Not gonna lie, it was really a toss-up between those two predictions, and it could go either way. I mean, of course, you still have Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, Mike Conley. You still have a great team. They still could steal a game like they did for game 4 off the Rudy game winner, so you never know, that could happen again. But chances are Dallas is going to win this series, because ain't no way the Jazz are stealing 2 games. Like, they can steal 1 game, but they're not stealing 2 games. But yeah. And the only series that we didn't talk about today was Grizzlies T-Wolves. I'm pretty sure that game 5 is tomorrow, and it's a 2-2 series right now. So that game 5 is definitely going to be very, very entertaining. Hopefully we can see a good game, maybe even a game winner. If Anthony Edwards hit a game winner in the playoffs, that would be amazing. Or even John Morant, that would be, because this is probably the team or the series that has the combination of the youngest players. You got a young T-Wolves team versus a young Grizzlies team. The Grizzlies' best player is John Morant. The T-Wolves' best player is, at the moment, Anthony Edwards. I'm kidding now. It's really Karl-Anthony Towns, and he's still young. It's just Anthony Edwards has been playing really, really well, and Cat has been playing less than he usually is expected to play. But he did pick it up in game 4, and if he could continue to be aggressive, do that in game 5, because the game where they lost, the games where they were doing bad, he only scored he only shot 4 shots or 8 shots. He scored 4 points or something like that. So, you know, but yeah, if Cat continues to be aggressive, then the Timberwolves can win these games and maybe even win this series, maybe even have an upset. You could possibly see the top 2 seeds in the West both getting upset. And hey, I'm all for it, man. I'd be happy to see it being like the Warriors, the Mavericks, the Timberwolves, and so it'd be Mavericks versus Pelicans, Warriors, Timberwolves. And that means either the Mavericks or the Pelicans make the conference finals. So that's why I kind of am rooting for the Pelicans to make it out. But anyways, that's really all I got to talk about for this video. Not much else to talk about. Talked about every series, all the games that happened. The games that are happening tomorrow, just to clarify, it's Hawks Heat at 5, it's Timberwolves versus Grizzlies at 5:30, and Pelicans versus Suns at 8. That Pelicans versus Suns game is probably the most important one. Either that one or the Timberwolves Grizzlies one. Hawks Heat, I think the Heat should finish off the series, but in the Timberwolves, Grizzlies, and Pelicans Suns ones, I want the Pelicans to win, and I want the T-Wolves. Well, the T-Wolves, I don't care who comes out the Grizzlies one, because either way, like, they're both young teams, kind of new to the playoffs, and one of them's going to make the second round, so, for the first time, so you know what I'm saying? I'm not that mad if either team wins that series. For the Pelicans, Pelicans Suns series, I do want the Pelicans to win, because I kind of want to upset, and it's not that I don't like the Suns, it's just, if the Suns if the Pelicans made the second round, it'd make me happy just to see that underdog, the upset, you know what I'm saying? That would be very, very good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My predictions pretty much stay the same. Nothing really changes, I guess. We got our first team to move on to the second round, and we're probably gonna get our second tomorrow. So yeah. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, share, comment on any tips, tricks, or topics you hear me talk about on this channel. That'll be it for me today. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.